think it's fantastic to be able to work outside, to work with plants, and if it's something that you love, there's nothing better than doing that for your job.
Just the fact that it's a historical garden, I mean it's Queen Victoria's summer house, I mean that's quite something really, and I think there's a lot here at Osborne, there's just a little bit of everything.
I've been working with English Heritage for 18 years now and started off as a senior gardener, and it was here at Osborne. When I started with English Heritage, the historical element really grew strongly. Using period correct plants, I really stayed with English Heritage because of that historical interest. And when the head gardener job came up here, I just had to go for it. You know, Osborne is such a special place.
What inspired me to get into horticulture is the fact that I just started to get interested in gardening when I was about maybe 18. I did a few different jobs and nothing really seemed to be quite the right thing. And I think at the back of my mind I'd always thought there's something out there for me that I'd really love to do. And eventually I realised that actually it was gardening, that was the only thing that I did want to do.
I originally wanted to go into veterinary and I changed my mind after doing A-levels. I decided to take a year out just to completely decide where I was going, and that was when I was working part-time at this family-run garden centre and nursery, and I was sort of encouraged just to look around a bit more, and that's when I came across a historical and botanic garden training programme. I'm relatively new into horticulture and I just wanted to have a taste, just have a year's experience and just to really see if I really enjoyed it, which I do, and I think it's been a fantastic opportunity.
Well, I think the HBG TP training scheme is really good for us. We have highly motivated trainees. They're really interested in the historical aspect of the garden, and it also brings a bit of sort of dynamism to the team as well. It gives everyone a chance to impart their knowledge, to train them up. It gives some of the gardeners a chance to have a bit more of a managerial sort of aspect of training people and bringing them on, and it keeps the team alive.
It's a good experience, to be honest. They get a lot out of it with the education and practical experience, and I think it's good for us within the team as well, because every year we've got new people coming in and adding to the dynamics of the team, and you can sometimes find out a little bit about yourself.
I was particularly interested to apply for a position at an English Heritage garden like Osborne because of that historic link and the fact that they try and preserve sites for the education, for example, of people. We try and keep all the planting period correct, so that means that we only use plants as far as possible that were introduced to the UK before Queen Victoria died in 1901. So that brings its own challenges. For me as well, the academic side of it has been really valuable because that gives you potentially some qualifications.
An average day I'd say would be just sort of mucking in with everyone. We do quite a lot of maintenance in the summer and watering now, especially in the summer, there's a lot of that. And then in the winter we do a lot of the bigger projects. We did a lot of digging for our new terrace herbaceous border. One of my favourite projects was the digging, even though it was continuous digging for 2 weeks. It was really nice just to work with the team continuously, and you stood at the top of the border and thought, oh my gosh, this is a long way, but the sense of achievement at the end was great.
I really enjoy working on the terraces because I think they're one of the showpieces of the property, and it's really interesting learning about how the bedding designs are actually thought up, the fact that they need to calculate as accurately as possible how many plants they'll need and how they actually do that for all the different beds, because we've got a lot of different beds on the terraces that are strange shapes, for example, and when the plants arrive there might be things such as we might not get exactly the number of plants we need, and so we have to sort of rejig the designs a little bit, and I think being part of that process has also been really valuable for me.
Doing a traineeship is a really good step to gain those really important skills that are passed on by working next to somebody experienced. The skills that you can't read about in a book. And we've got gardeners here that have been working at Osborne for 25, 30 years. They know what they're doing, and it's those guys that we really need to get the skills from for the new generation of gardeners coming into the industry.
Our plant idents consist of a walk around with our head gardener, and that's a really valuable time that we're given because we can find out where the plants are in the garden, and I think I've definitely learned a lot more since September.
We do 3 projects a year, so you have about 4 months to complete a project in, and there's quite a lot of choice depending on the garden that you're placed at as to what kind of projects you might want to do. We're in the walled garden at the minute, and this is one of the annual beds, which this year we've turned into a memorial bed really for parks and garden staff that were killed in the First World War.
The project was started off by Mike Fitt, who's the chairman of the Royal Parks Guild, and he invited myself and Catherine onto this project, which is also a national project. So there's lots of other projects going on in London, which we've been involved in at the Royal Chelsea Hospital and Hampton Court Flower Show.
We've had to dig, for example, craters to replicate where the bombs would have churned up the earth. We've got the crosses in the bed as well. And then we've used wildflowers which we know came up on the battlefield sites after the fighting had stopped, because a botanist from Kew actually went out there after the Battle of the Somme and recorded all the wildflowers that he found there. So we've used that list.
I'd say it's really benefited my training because I haven't really done any annual seed sowing on this sort of scale.
A bit of maths involved in calculating as well how much seed you might need.
Working outdoors, you get to meet all sorts of people from different backgrounds, and also you get to see the seasons year in, year out, and it gives you a great appreciation for the great outdoors and different people.
I think the best thing about my job at the moment is definitely working with like-minded people. I've really clicked with the other trainee, and I just think the team is lovely.
Our first trainee was in 2006, and since then we've either had 1 or 2 every year, and it's really nice just having quality people coming through.
I'm about halfway through my trainee position at the minute, but I think my next steps after this will be hopefully to work in another historic garden, probably somewhere that will give me experience of different areas of horticulture than Osborne does.
I want to further my training and just development in horticulture. And the scheme has definitely helped me just be more confident in applying for more traineeships.
It is tough to recruit. There is a skill shortage. We do struggle to find really good quality gardeners, and I think this scheme really helps. It's really training these trainees to the level that we need in the industry.
I've been so happy here. I've been enjoying my time at Osborne so much, and I think I'm really, really inspired to stay in this and make this my career for life.
I'm definitely more happier in what I'm doing, and I can see a really good career ahead of me, which is exciting, and now I wouldn't look back.